coming to you live from Nashville. Welcome to the Green Room with Jade Million. Today we have an extremely exciting guest. Jon Kilmer is in the room, everybody. All right? Jon Kilmer, I'm so happy to have you here.
Finally, I feel like I've been bugging you for like weeks, months.
You're like, why haven't I been on the podcast?
I think the second you launched the podcast, I asked you if I could be a guest on the podcast. This is right around when you had Victor on the show, I think.
Right, we had V. Wills.
What guest was he?
He was number one. Can you believe he was my first guest? He really did me a favor.
No, he didn't. He thinks you're awesome. I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
Honestly, like I would expect Victor to be guest number one.
Yeah.
Because Victor is the shit. I love Victor. But for me to be, what episode are we now?
We're on 15.
So I'm 115.
Look.
I would expect to be top 10.
Okay, my bad.
It's okay.
We do a couple best friend episodes here and there. And
You've had some great episodes. You had Party here.
Yep.
You had Tim. You had a lot of great people on the show. So
the squad.
Yeah, I'm in good company. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. So you are a podcaster yourself, actually. What do you think of my setup? Like, what would you rate this experience?
Oh my gosh. Well, right off the bat, I mean, I was already noticing your monitoring system over there. For those that cannot see, actually no one can see, but the monitoring system is that we're on a 3-camera setup, and there's a TV screen there. Almost looks like a security system that shows all of the angles on the screen.
Yes.
And I can say wholeheartedly that of all the podcasts I've ever done, some of them very big shows, I've never had a monitoring system like that.
Do you hear that, everybody? We do things right over at Jade Million Incorporated. Okay?
Number 2. I commented the second I walked in on the aesthetic of the show and the set design. Have never had a show that looked this nice ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Do you guys hear this? Listen.
Yeah.
This is a lot. It means so much because I do have to tell you, a podcast that you did at one point was my favorite podcast, of course.
Which one?
The Y&K.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah. So I feel like, and I've said this a lot on this podcast, but y'all's podcast was the reason why I started a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, because I feel like that was why, I became a fan of Mike's music was because of the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that it's really valuable to be able to come on as an artist and just like share more about your personality and who you are. And I think this format for me has worked super well. And I know you've said to a couple people that you think it's a great avenue for artists to try out.
It really is. At first I was like, podcasting's the only way. It's the only way to get your personality out there if you're an artist. And now, of course, there's so many other ways.
Yeah.
Live streaming is a huge outlet, which you do as well.
Also do, yes.
You're doing both, so you're an overachiever. But I think like on a human level, it's just nice to sit and have a conversation. No phones, just vibes.
Yep.
Talk for an hour uninterrupted.
Yeah.
And just see where the conversation goes because people just aren't doing that anymore.
Yes.
So if anything, when you tell me that like I'm podcasting because of the Y&K, I'm more so happy that I'm just like, we encourage people to just sit and have meaningful and thoughtful conversations.
Yeah.
Which means a lot. Like it's really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said that to so many guests. Like that was definitely something that I consumed for a while. And I feel like, with how much music is out there nowadays, I do feel like it's just so important for artists to have an avenue where you really get to know who they are as a person. Did you feel like, in being so involved with Mike's career, obviously, and we'll dive into all that, but do you feel like you really saw a change in the fan base through that podcast?
Yeah, the podcast started right around 2019, so pre-COVID. And that was right around like Mike's rebrand. So for the first 8 years, he's Mike Stud. And the whole branding was party, college, drinking, girls. Like that was it for 8 years.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where we're getting close to 30 years old and it's like, you can't be the Mike Stud guy anymore. Right. And Mike was also going through a huge transition like internally as well of just becoming more of a man. We kind of all progressed into becoming men together way later than we should have.
You know what? So it takes a second. I think we've learned that as women. Like, give them a sec.
So it was funny, and like I don't even think that was planned. Obviously, I think from a business standpoint, he was like, "Well, I can't be the Mike Stud guy into my 30s because that's just kind of corny." And then naturally, I think he just started becoming a man, and that was right around when we started doing the podcast. And we didn't start the podcast because we were like, "Oh, let's go on this spiritual journey and start a podcast."
Right.
I think that Joe Rogan started to become really popular around 2019. And the only other music figure doing a podcast, I think, was Joe Budden back then.
Really?
So it was not common for musicians to have podcasts that long ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, Mike and his instincts, they're always right for some reason, and it's really annoying. But we started kind of right around the perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forget your original question, but hopefully that answered it.
No, for sure. I still think it's actually kind of rare for music artists to have podcasts. I don't see a lot. I consume, weirdly, I actually consume more podcasts than I do music, which feels so odd to say as a music artist. I'm actually kind of embarrassed how little music that I consume.
You shouldn't be embarrassed. I think as a musician, hearing a lot of being inspired by outside stuff, it can be almost to a fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because then you won't even copy stuff on purpose, but you'll take things without even realizing it in a way.
Of course.
And I know, I mean, Mike's a great example, and even myself, I don't really listen to music either. And it's for a bunch of different reasons, and we can get into that later. I think the whole music curation these days is just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, why do you think I'm bouncing around to so many different other outlets? Because I think that I'm seeing the future. And the future for music artists is you better fucking also do something else. Don't you think?
You have to have a lot of different revenue streams and a lot of different talents and a lot of different, I completely agree. It's been, and just getting yourself out there, you have to do so many different things.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I definitely gravitate towards podcasts more, and even with music, I'm not even listening to stuff with lyrics anymore.
Right.
I'll just listen to like smooth jazz.
Okay.
While I
He's
cook
a smooth
dinner.
Jazz guy.
Because I just listen to stuff to put me in a good vibe.
I love that.
And I just listen to music all day, from Mike's stuff. I'll hear people always ask, "Do you listen to Mike's songs?" Yeah, I'm like, no. Why would I?
Mike's like, thanks, dude.
I listen to his unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's fresh, I'm I have his vault and stuff online, and I'll listen to a new song that he made, and I'll be like, oh, this is sick. But then, these days, or Rodman or Up Again, I'm like,
come on now, Rodman, it's always a banger.
I'm like, before the song even came out, I heard it 1,000 times, and then I listened to it on every tour, and I listened to it every time I have to edit a video. It's probably 10, 20,000. So someone puts it on at a party, I'm going to tell them to change it.
Right. It's so funny. You know what that just reminded me of, that I just want to say really quick? I consume a lot of Mike's music. He's always in my top at the end of the year. You know what I really love the most by him, especially being an artist? I love the live cuts of his music. You know how there's a version of Rodman that's out that's live, and you hear the crowd in it, right? Oh,
just the audio ones on Spotify.
Yeah. So the reason I love those the most as an artist is because it ignites this visualization, just even for myself. Hearing a crowd react to his music.
Yeah.
And
I didn't think of that.
I feel like it's such a different experience, hearing that as somebody who obviously is pursuing music. I mean, sometimes when I just need to be inspired and reminded why I want to do what I want to do, which I talked about with Tim in the last episode. We were kind of just talking about what fame means to me and why I would want fame. And Tim is very he's almost anti-fame in a sense. And I kind of challenged him on it, because I was like, well, I want to be famous, but the reason I want to be famous is because I want to play to a huge arena of people. And he's like, okay, that's a different than realm of why you would want fame.
Yeah.
And I think hearing just that palpable energy of a crowd to the music is just, it's my favorite. Those are my favorite tracks.
When you're that big, though, it comes with strings attached, unfortunately.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Whether you're independent or signed, it doesn't matter.
Oh, and it's things that you will never understand or know until you're in it, and that's something that I've thought a lot about. You try to mentally prepare yourself for the things that could come with what you want, and you there's just no way to do it.
No.
You literally just have to live through it, and just be willing to have good people around you and just hope that you can handle it.
That's the journey, though.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah.
It really is.
Yes. So speaking of the journey, I mean, you have had the most insane journey. You are, I would say, the right hand man of one of the most successful independent artists in the world right now.
I'm getting chills.
How does that do you think about that often?
I do, yeah. I woke up one day and I was on the wrong side of 30, and I was like, wow, I've been doing this for 15 years. And there are younger artists such as yourself that look at what we've done as an independent team, and actually see it as almost a business model or something that they want to pursue.
Yeah.
And when that switch happened, like it became very fulfilling.
Yeah.
It became because before it was like we have an incredible fan base, an incredible community, and like that fueled everything. That was like I feel indebted to the fans since day one because I can't believe anyone gives a shit, you know. But then once you start seeing younger artists start to like look up to it, then it's like, wow, I'm not just like a part of this community with fans. It's like it's actually much bigger than that, and it's helping younger artists find their way and showing that you don't have to sign the major record deal and you can figure it out yourself, and it may not be easy and it might be a long road, but it's a road worth taking.
Oh my God. And I think too, just like the humbleness and gratitude that you get to have by doing it in a way like you guys have. I mean, people think that they want like the fast come up, and I almost think that could be such a detriment to one day you really appreciating like every single fucking fan that like buys a ticket. And you don't get that sometimes when you shoot to stardom. And I think for me, you know,
you can't get it. It's impossible. It's literally impossible.
Right. And I feel like, you know, I've wanted this like my whole life, and I think I always kind of had a timeline for myself. And I'm sure like Mike has gone through this too, of maybe your timeline taking a lot longer than you wanted or had anticipated. And you come to a moment where you're like, a lot of people around me are giving up, and a lot of people are saying I should give up because, you know, I'm past my early 20s. You know, I didn't like get a Grammy at the age of 18. And it's like, I think so many people are misled in the music industry that if they don't make it by a certain time, they just should stop. And like, what do you think about that? Going through everything you've been through with Mike.
There are just there's so many success stories, not even just ours, but so many success stories of people who just stuck with it. You know what I mean? Like even look at like Jelly Roll, for example.
My favorite example.
You know, it's like he talked about winning like best new artist when he was a musician for 20 years.
Yeah, I think he was in his 40s.
Yeah, and then same with Mike. I mean, it took until, I mean, who can even define what success is? But we're getting into, you know, the amphitheater shows and shows creeping into 7, 8, 9,000 people independently. And that's, you know, we're in our late 30s.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think that's beautiful because I feel like everything happens in such divine timing. Who knows what you would have been able to handle if it had happened the way that it is now at an earlier time. You know, like imagine if it had happened when like y'all were in the thick of your partying, you know, and like it was obviously starting to take off, but I feel like it would have been such a different experience.
I don't think there was any outside force that could have made us party any harder.
Honestly. Right. I mean, it's hard not to, you know, I feel like.
Yeah, but no, you're absolutely right. If the operation got a lot bigger back then, like we would have been in a lot of trouble.
Right.
A lot. There takes like, I mean, I know firsthand that it takes a great amount of maturity and like understanding to operate like whatever we have going on right now because there are so few players. There's no record label. There's no manager even. I mean, like he has a like a business team that handles his financials and stuff like that. And then outside of that, it's kind of like just me and maybe one or two other guys just kind of helping with things. Yeah.
And that's been so interesting to watch for me because, you know, I think there was a lot of moments where I was like, I at least need a manager. I need a booking agent. And I feel like now, even just watching how it played out for y'all, I really have also looked for someone who's more of like a jack of all trades, which is what I would kind of call you at this point, is somebody who's like, you know, really just has their hands in all pots and is the person that it's almost like more of an executive assistant, you know, and that's I just actually found an amazing girl who's helping me so much. Shout out Becca, but she really is reminding me of how you guys are doing things. And it's so freeing to know that like I still have so much say and control in everything I'm doing. And at the end of the day, like I am weirdly my own manager still, you know, and it's just awesome to know that like my career is going to kind of go the way that I want. And even if that's not, you know, superstardom in the masses right now or whatever, like it's going to be fulfilling for like a very long time, I think. And every part of the journey, especially as I've gotten older, I've just started to appreciate so much more. Even just the fact of like, you know, I went on a tour and it was like, well, I don't really want to do like date. Like I want to spread this out over a month and a half, and I want to like enjoy a city for like 4 days with the people that I've brought. And, you know, and I feel like when you're able to kind of pick your players and like hand select, you can really like do it how you want, you know?
Yeah, I think when finding people, it's not even finding the most qualified people. Absolutely. It's finding the people who believe in you. Believe in you. And people who have the trait that are just like willing to learn along the way.
Totally.
You know? Because I didn't go into this thinking I was going to be doing all of these things.
Right. That was a question that I had for you. So like you went into this really like being a videographer, correct?
And music producer.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So as time had gone on, you just kind of had to like learn these skills. Yeah,
luckily, and I was talking to your producer about this while you were in the other room, but I got really lucky in the sense that I was so passionate at a young age with visual, like videography and with music production and just like playing music in general. Yeah. And that started when I was 14 or 15 years old. So by the time I'm like out of college and starting to like, you know, be an adult and start a business and earn money, I'm already like 7 years deep in my trade.
Right.
Of producing music and shooting videos.
I feel that.
And I mean, we can get into it, but like from a video, like from a technological standpoint with all of it, things were progressing very quickly, and it was still the early stages of having your own home studio and having your own film equipment. Like it wasn't that readily available yet.
Yeah.
But by the time all that stuff was readily available, like I was already so deep in knowing a lot of those trades. So from a creative standpoint, when I started, like I was already like a great person to work with because I could do so many different things.
Right.
Like for a music video, I could do that. For making beats, I could do that. For recording and engineering, I could do that. I was even a hype man at one point. Like I was doing a bunch of random shit. But from like the music business standpoint, I didn't know anything. Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't know anything until I was forced to.
Yeah. 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 So you said, you know, the most important quality for like team members is to really find people who believe in you. What do you think the quality was about Mike that made you be like, I'm going to go all in on this guy?
Well, you're asking the 23-year-old me. And the 23-year-old me I was a year out of college. I was living in New York City, just like doing anything to make my rent. And I didn't take a job out of college. New York was a lot cheaper to live in back then. Yeah. I was in a 2-bedroom, shifted into a 3-bedroom, and my rent was like $1,000 a month, which is unheard of today.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I just gotta make at least $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like that's my goal. I'm not gonna.
He's like, fuck food.
I had some internships, and well, it's funny because my roommate, who is a longtime friend of mine, he worked in finance. So like, okay, like you know, but I was still paying. I was paying my rent, and I was like $1,000 a month. That's all I need to just like get by. And I would hustle every day. I'd wake up. My room was like probably the size of this room we're in right now. Honestly, it was exactly this size.
It's a little tight in here.
And my bed took up half the room.
I would guess, yeah.
And my other half of the room was just like this. There was a desk right here.
Looked like a mess.
And there was a keyboard in the middle of the room. And I would just like go in that little corner. Yeah. And I'd like make beats all day. I'd go on music blogs. I'd hit up artists. Yeah. I would like pitch beats and I would offer to do music videos. And I just do that all day. That's how I met Tim, because of good music all day.
Yes.
Through that blog. That was like one of the major music outlets for me and curation back then on how I found artists. Yeah. So I found Mike on Good Music All Day on Tim's blog. And Mike had one song out called College Humor. And his name was Mike Stud. And I was 23 years old. I had previously just been in a fraternity. So I was...
Oh, you're like, this is my shit.
I was that guy. I saw the video to College Humor, and he's at Georgetown, and he's got the shaved head and the polo, and he's rapping about partying and girls, and there's like girls everywhere, and they're drinking. And I was like, yeah,
I like that.
I'm like, yeah, like this is, yeah. Yeah. So I remember just like, I reached out, and I was reaching out to a lot of artists back then, to be fair. Like, I didn't see that and was like, this guy's going to go the distance, you know?
Right.
I more so was like, I align with this. Yeah. Like this looks like someone I'd be friends with. Yeah. Straight up, you know? Yeah. Like we're both just, for lack of a better word, we're kind of douchebags. Right. You know? Yeah. And the song was really good, to be fair. Like I really enjoyed the song. So I shot him an email, and it was, I talked about this recently about, you know, people ask, how do you find team members or like teams of
I
people
just watched this clip.
of people you align with. And it's like, it's not just seeing the one person and reaching out and then it working out. It's you do it 300 times until you find someone where it clicks. And Micah was very simple because the song I produced with him ended up being a song I shot a music video for. So I met him within weeks or months of pitching him a beat. His third song he ever made was on that beat.
Yeah.
And is with a girl named Missy Modell who sang the chorus. And the two of them like took, Mike took an Amtrak down to New York because he was in Rhode Island. And we met for the first time on the first song we ever worked with, and we shot the video. And it was just a very quick, it was a very quick thing. And he started doing shows pretty quickly because his first song was quite popular. I remember it getting close to like 1 million views on YouTube pretty quickly.
Oh, wow. It's amazing.
So like his first song was relatively viral or whatever you want to say. So we started doing like opening spots pretty quickly around the Northeast area. And I remember he would be like, hey, do you want to film the show? I'd be like, yeah. So I'd drive to whatever, New Jersey or wherever he's doing the show, Connecticut. And those were like our first concerts that we ever filmed.
Right.
And I'd later go on to film 700 more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too there is just an element of, trusting in, not to like be woo-woo, but like really trusting in the universe to kind of bring people together that are meant to be at the right time.
You have to trust in the universe, yeah.
Even like I said with my girl Becca, it was like I put on Instagram, and same with Adam, like my producer for my podcast. I just put on Instagram, I need this. Like DM me if you're interested in this position. And I had so many girls DM me, and like something about Becca like stuck out to me, and I met her and I was just like, she's the one.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so crazy because it happened so like organically and like you said quickly. It really feels fated, and I could have like hired an assistant a year ago, but I feel like now it's just it happened at the right time. And I feel the elevation just in my own life by accepting that like I can be independent, but it doesn't mean that I have to do this all by myself. And I think for a long time, especially like being a girl in the industry, I think a part of me was like a little bit jaded and kind of like I want to prove that I want to prove that I can like do this on my own.
Yeah.
But then you get to a certain ceiling where you can no longer like grow without having other people support you.
You have to.
And I really got to that point last year. At the top of this year, actually, I had like a conversation with Tim. I was really like getting involved with Grouped. And I was like, I need to like talk to you about how I'm currently feeling about my music. And I feel like I'm at this weird point of like, why can't I grow anymore? And what advice do you have for me?
Yeah.
And he hopped on a call with me, like no problem, like him and Steph. And he was like, where are you feeling like you're unable to, have any more growth? And I was like, honestly, like the content is really, it's really difficult for me to wake up every day and know that I need to put something out there and then have to not only come up with the idea, film it myself, edit it, all the things. And luckily I have budget coming in. And that was another thing where I was like, hey, like I have budget. Like a lot of artists don't. Yeah. And with what I'm doing with live streaming, I'm so fucking blessed. Like it's going so amazingly that I'm able to like actually give myself label treatment, you know? And I was like, what would you do in my situation? He's like, you're going to hire a videographer. You're going to knock out a ton of videos in 2 days. And then that's going to be completely off your plate. And like, I've been doing that, change the game. He also was like, I really think instead of like trying to go the manager route, you should really look for like an executive assistant. And I did that, changing everything. And it's just so crazy. Like you don't have to do this by yourself, even if you want to be independent, And I think that that's the biggest thing that like Tim always preaches. It's like, just because you're independent doesn't mean that you don't have people around you who are also like helping, you know, and like you do need a village.
Yeah. No,
it doesn't have to be a label. You can make your own.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the manager route, managers are so interesting because you can go 2 routes. I think you can go the route where, because I've seen it work both ways. Yeah. But the traditional way is the hardest for it to work out.
I agree.
Their traditional way is like a marriage.
Yeah.
Because you're giving a percentage of your career to another human.
Yeah, yeah. So
with that, you better fucking trust them with your life. And that's like legit a marriage. That's not transactional. Right. That's not like you get, this salary, and if you stink, you're fired.
Right.
Like managers, especially with traditional deals, there's sunset clauses, and you could be trapped into that. I've seen it happen to so many people.
Yeah, me too.
Where like a couple years, it doesn't go the way you want it to. You part ways.
And it rarely does. Like, let's be real.
It rarely does, just like most marriages.
Yeah, literally.
And, you know, instead of alimony, you're paying, you know, a sunset clause where, you know, there could be, I've seen it up to 5-6 years, you know, but for most parts, like 2 or 3 years, you still got to pay them a percentage, even if they're not working with you anymore. So that route, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you better be damn sure that like that person truly believes in you and has your best interest at heart. With that being said, you also better believe that they better like care as much as you do.
Right.
About what you're doing, which is, again, very hard.
Especially like from a traditional manager. I mean, let's be real. Like,
it cannot
the next
be
hot
transactional.
thing,
Yeah.
They're going to be more putting their focus into that.
Totally.
You know, and it's like,
totally.
It's almost riskier to like go a route that way because they already feel like they have the upper hand with you. When you're working with somebody who is building with you from the ground up, like they're just as in it as you know? Yeah. And that's also something I'm really big on with just even working with people in general is just like, I want to make sure that, you know, they're having fun and we're really like locked into a situation where they believe in the greater vision, you know? So like for you guys, obviously it's growing into this like massive thing. And do you think that you guys knew that it was going to grow to this? Like, was there always just that understanding of this is what's going to happen, or have you been just absolutely blown away by what the fuck has gone down?
Blown away.
Even from a fan standpoint, I'm blown away. I'm like, I mean, wow.
It's hard to look at it. Like, it's hard for an outsider to look at it and understand. And I'm not talking about you because you're a musician and you understand. I'm just talking about the average music consumer. It's hard to look at it from the outside and understand where huge victories for us might not be like understandable to other people in the sense that you look relative, you know, a Mike show that's even as big a show, Red Rocks this November, it's like 10,000 people, which to us and like anyone in the music industry from like an independent level, you're like, that's the Mecca. That's incredible. To other people, they're like, well, you know, I go to shows at Bridgestone Arena and I go to shows at Nissan and there's like 30,000 people. So like 10,000 is cool, but you know, like people don't understand the road to get there. Absolutely. And the strings that are attached and all of that stuff. So to me, even when we like 2 years ago, when we got to the amphitheater level of shows, and I think we took a risk. I mean, I know we took a risk playing those venues because we hadn't toured since 2019, I think. No, 2022, sorry. It had been 2 or 3 years since we toured, and the tour previous to that were all, you know, like 1,000 to 2,000 person shows for the most part. So like they're big, but they were theaters. They weren't amphitheaters or anything like that. And then we lock in this venue in Boston that's 5,000 for the first show of the next tour in 2024, and all the venues that tour are all around that size. You know, like 3,000 to 5,000. And, you know,
remember St. Pete? I was there.
St. Pete again.
St. Pete was fucking crazy.
Like 7,000 or 8,000 people.
So crazy.
So like
the pier.
You're booking this tour, and every show is like triple the previous tour, and you know I guess the music was getting a little bigger, but we didn't really have any like major signs or major moments that is like your touring is going to triple.
Right.
There were no real signs of that, but I don't know. Maybe it was Mike just like having that insight and just knowing. I didn't know, and I don't know if his booking agents knew, but he went after those venues and it worked. Yeah. It just worked.
Another big thing I think about a lot with Mike is like his scarcity like tactic.
Yeah.
And I think that this is just such an interesting thing to think about in all life things. Like the level of like almost detachment and just kind of like he's not desperate to do that stuff. So when he does, it feels like you don't want to miss it because you don't know if it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting and it's such a risk. And I think it's like something that most artists would be absolutely terrified to even speak out loud. You know what I mean? And I think that and I don't think it's inauthentic. I think that's what he truly feels, you know? And I think because it's so authentic that's why it works.
Yeah.
It's not like a play. It's like, you know, it's really truly like, this is how he feels. And like, it's bleeding into the energy I think that he's creating. And I think that it feels special to like be a part of it because you know that this is like so rare, you know? And I think that, I don't know, there's like nobody's doing that. Like nobody's like, yeah, no, I'm like almost done. Like everybody's like, what? No, I'm like, get the ticket to Red Rocks now, Lauren. Like me and my best friend are coming. And we're like, this could be your, of course we're going to be there. But like,
amazing.
It's just like, it's so different from what anybody's doing. But it's also, everybody talks about like how fucked the music industry is. And like, it is in a lot of ways. Don't get me wrong.
It is, yeah.
But I think you guys are such a like lighthouse in a world full of confusion for artists nowadays and just being afraid of what this industry is going to look like, because it really does just boil down to like having these basic principles of creating a really strong fan base, giving a fuck about the people who give a fuck about you first, and like watching that grow, because then all of a sudden those people are your marketers. They're your street team, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's word of mouth. It's just so organic. And every single person I've ever introduced to this world is like, on board immediately, you know, and it's just so fucking cool. Like it's so, you guys are a part of something I think that is just really rare, even just like on an energetic level. Because even when I was at his Nashville show, like at Ascend, which Ascend is my ultimate dream venue. I think it's just because
it was incredible. Yeah.
I've lived here for 10 years. Something that I used to do all the time before they gated off Ascend. I used to live up at River House, and every morning I would walk down and I would sit in the field at Ascend.
Wow.
And I would like visualize myself performing at Ascend.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And then they gated it off, so I can't do that anymore. But it was, I mean, that venue is just really magical. It's outdoors. It's so beautiful. This city skyline is behind you.
Yeah.
And I went to that show, and it felt like everyone was family in the crowd. You know, everybody was just on the same positive, happy wavelength, and it just felt like such a like celebration. I feel like everyone was so proud of you guys, and I think everybody feels weirdly close to y'all, you know, like you guys are their friends, and they're like supporting their friend, and they've watched their friend just completely blow up. And what was that moment like for you with the Send? Like, was that different? Because that felt different than any show that I had gone to.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that was a top 3 for me for sure.
Yeah.
With Boston probably being one of the bigger ones for me, just because I grew up there and that was a hometown show for us. But Nashville was incredible. I mean, it was one of the bigger shows. It was, you know, over 6,000 people. And this has been home for me for the past 3 or 4 years. And it's kind of like the center of like our whole universe almost in a way, the whole Stevenson Ranch stuff and everything. And, you know, people just, you see SR hats everywhere in this town.
Everywhere.
So it kind of feels like the home base almost in a way, you know, or like our home away from home. So just being in the music scene here for as many years as I've been here, and then kind of like, just like doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Just doing it, and like, just being like we just played like the, you know, the second or third biggest venue in town independently, and sold it out, and the vibes, like you're absolutely right. When you go there, it's the community is incredible. Yeah. And it's a frequency that you can't really put into words.
Literally, it was a frequency.
And it's hard for me to experience it because I don't get to like mingle in the crowd as much. And I've told Mike there are times where like I have to run out to, you know, front of house before the show to like do something with my camera or like sync some wireless thing, and I have to like run through the crowd, you know, 10 minutes before a show and do stuff like that. And you like feel it when you're in there. Yeah. And it's something I can't really explain.
I know.
It's almost, it's not like, I kind of relate it to, and I haven't done this in many years, but like being on like Molly or something.
Yeah. No, literally. I felt like I was on drugs.
I thought I was on MDMA.
100%.
And I can only say that because I've done it before.
We've done it.
Because we've done it.
Because we've done it. Okay? We just talked about that on the last podcast.
Yeah, drugs are bad, but like literally, like I felt like I was high on MDMA. Yeah. Like just walking through the crowd.
I had the same experience.
And because he plays like some of his like, you know, dance remixes before the shows and stuff, and I'm hearing the dance remixes, and I see like I'm like surrounded by everyone's vibe, and like I'm just getting zapped by everyone's frequency, just 100%. Walking through the crowd. And man, what I would give to just like take a night off and just be out there with everyone.
Yeah, right.
That's the dream, really.
Right,
yeah.
right. No, yeah.
But it's awesome. And I mean, you gave me a lot to unpack, honestly, with all the last stuff you just said. But one of the scarcity thing, I think that's like something that's earned, honestly. And like that's once you build the community and it almost runs itself in a way, you can have scarcity and you can be an enigma in a way. And that's not a luxury most people can have as artists today, which is unfortunate. A lot of it is like just reminding people that you exist on a daily basis or an hourly basis. And that's taxing and it's hard. But, you know, I heard something on our artist community podcast recently when we had Schumacher on.
So talented.
And yeah, he's incredible.
Just met him last night.
He's incredible. And he's a young artist, you know, and I'm sure you guys are around the same age and maybe have been making music around the same amount of time. But he's like, I literally took some time off, like a month or two off, just to spend time with family because I was about to move to Nashville. And he was so used to that, like, you know, release every 2 months and put a post up every day and, you know, in that whole cog, in the whole system. And he's like, the second I stepped away and just started being present with my family and just like not cared about that stuff, all of the blessings came rushing in.
Yeah, it's a lot.
When he stopped caring.
It's the law.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's really weird though, because it's like, it's such a fine line. I mean, I think, I don't know. The way that I look at it is like, I truly believe that things can quantum jump like so quickly, right? It's like, if this is what you're meant to do, right? You can do that. You can take a second and like things will, and that's what I've noticed in my own life. You know, there have been times even with streaming where I'm like, I haven't been that consistent. And like the next night I'll get on and have like the best night I've ever had. And it's like, I think that we're just so forced into being this ever-present thing that sometimes we're so concerned about constantly, you know, having to show something and prove ourselves that we start to maybe lose a little bit of like what makes us artists. Yep. And I think the only way that you really get to even find that is by like unplugging. And it's really scary to unplug because, you know, in a way, like the algorithm could go against you and you could not be doing that great because of it. But I think overall, you just have to trust that, like, if it's meant for you, like you can, you know, if you need to take some time, like you can, you know, and then when you're ready to go, fucking go, like ride that wave, ride the momentum. Something starts to work, like go all in on it. Yeah. And yeah, I think it's just a constant juggling act, especially just being in the seat of being an artist, you know? Yeah. It's funny when Mike went through this spiritual shift. It's like a lot of the stuff he used to talk about used to be like hippie stuff, you know what I mean? And I think that society's starting to come around a little bit on it being kind of the norm, which is awesome, especially with technology being and all the AI stuff coming out and just like the overabundance of shit getting thrown at you every day. But he attributes a lot of his work to just like being like putting himself on a good vibe, you know? Oh yeah. Like putting yourself on a good frequency, which is part of the job, you know? And like people kind of like put that, some people don't even put that on the list at all. Absolutely. Yeah. And like I've learned it, like not even as an artist, just as a human. Like there's some things that you have to do in order to like make sure like that signal is clear up there. Because if it's not and there's static and you're just wrapped in this machine of doing what everyone else is doing and doing what you think you're supposed to be doing, and it's just like not putting you in a good vibe, like I just don't think you're going to get anywhere that way. Yeah. No, that's such a great reminder even for me, because I noticed such a huge difference in just even like how my content will perform if I put that first thing in the morning, like getting myself right, having that time with myself in the morning and reminding myself like why I'm doing this, and also just like really speaking like self-belief and reminding myself of my talent and my gift. And I think there are lots of days, you know, still where it's like I am moving a little too quickly. And then I'm wondering why things aren't really, they're not really catching, you know? Yep. And that's like my biggest goal right now, actually, is just to really like come back home to myself first and foremost and like to feel good. Because I can literally like see the difference in everything when I do that first, you know? Yeah. And it's really hard as an artist, especially as an independent artist, because you have a lot to keep up with and just think about on a daily basis. It's taxing. Yeah, no, it never ends. Like,
it's taxing.
Never. I mean, my day starts from the second I wake up till midnight. It's just like,
yeah.
And I love it because I genuinely say, like, music saved me. Like, I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't have it. But yeah, I think that's like the lesson in it all. I think for creative people is like, you're creative because of that, like, connection that you have with your higher self and with something that's on the other side, because that's where we're all getting our ideas from. You know, it's like they're downloads, and we're here to like put them out there. And if you're, like you said, if you have static and you're kind of not clear in that, I don't think you're going to be receiving the best ideas.
That's true. And it's not even just about your art. It's about, we were talking about, you know, it takes a village, and aligning with the right people to help you get to the next level. Yeah. Because you can't just do it yourself. If you're on the right frequency, you will attract the right people. And I want to tell you a story because I'm obsessed with rock star autobiographies. I've read them all. And one moment just came to my head as we were talking about this is Anthony Kiedis' book from Red Hot Chili Peppers. His book's called Scar Tissue.
I need to read it.
And it's, incredible book. He has a great story. I mean, anyone who was a heroin addict and then overcame it is a hero in my mind.
Absolutely. Me too.
Not that I've ever done heroin, but I can imagine it's really hard to quit. And he came out the other side and all that. But other sides, I name more in their songs. Sorry. So one of their biggest albums, or one of their first biggest albums, was called Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which came out in the early 90s. And that was produced by Rick Rubin. And I'm sure you're familiar with Rick Rubin.
Of course. You know I am.
So there was a moment before that album where they were all trying to work together, like years before that. Maybe it was a year or 2 or 3 years before that. And Rick Rubin was supposed to meet them in the studio to, like, just as kind of like an intro and maybe do a record or just meet with one another. And when Rick Rubin got there, he saw, and he was like, the vibe was just so off in that room. And like, they were all addicted on drugs at the time. But he knew it the second he walked in. He was just like, you guys are just like not on the right vibe. Like, I can't work with you guys. And he just walked out. Wow. And then once Anthony Kiedis, and I don't know about the rest of the band, but from his point of view and his book, he started to get clean. And that song Under the Bridge, which was on Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which was the single, which was, I think, Rick Rubin's doing, by the way, because it's a song about how Anthony Kiedis used to be addicted to drugs and used to like go under bridges and shoot heroin and lay on mattresses underneath bridges and just like be high on drugs all the time. And Rick Rubin, in his mind, he's like, that's the single. When anyone else would be like, "What? That's such a downer. Why would that be the single?" Right. But anyways, like, once Anthony Kiedis got clean and their frequency got cleaner, then he worked with them, and then they made their biggest album that they've ever made. Right. Rick Rubin's incredible. Yeah. And then another, again, Motley Crue's book, The Dirt. I love that book. One of the greatest books of all time. Good books. They were also, you haven't read The Dirt? Oh man, it's dirty. Okay, I love that. But there's a lot of good lessons in there too. Again, overcoming drugs, overcoming addiction. The second they like all got older and got their shit together and started becoming sober, they made their biggest record of all time. Yeah. It ended up being, I think, their 4th album maybe. But it was their biggest album of all time because their mind was clearer. They're making better music. And then they achieved the highest level of success. Wow. So, I mean, these are extreme forms because we're not on heroin, but and most people aren't, I hope. Yeah. But but artists struggle with. If you really put yourself on the right vibe, I guarantee that you will attract the best people in your life and you'll make the greatest art that you've ever made. Yeah. And the combination of those two is just a matter of time. Yeah. And the persistence of just never quitting. Right. Those 3 things, like, it's just a matter of time before something happens for you. I totally agree. You know? And like, you just have to stick with it. But you have to know deep in your heart that you're putting yourself first and you're putting yourself on a good vibe every day and you're putting out the best frequency possible. Yeah. 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 I mean, that's just so like encouraging, I think, to hear, because I think a lot of artists, you know, even in talking about just like the getting wrapped up in like drugs and your frequency not really being clear, a lot of artists, I think, feel like they need those things when in reality it's like, you know, what would happen actually if you took it away and you just like really reconnected with yourself? Well, we're in a trade and a lifestyle where like it's like it's praised, the rock star lifestyle. Oh yeah, yeah. Like I was a part of it for 10 years. Yeah, you know, we all bought into it. You know, 10 years I lived the most extreme lifestyle ever. Right. And everyone was like, "Yeah, these guys are the shit. We love them for it." So we did it even more, and that was that was our whole embodiment of who we were and our brand. and we killed ourselves.
Yeah.
We were literally poisoning ourselves. And by the time we started our podcast, we were on the tail end of it. And luckily, like, I think the timing was just so good where we got to kind of document our feelings of coming through the other end of it. And I'm still coming out the other end of it, you know, years later. And I feel like I'm almost like out of the end, you know? And it was a lot, but this is a tricky industry. Yeah. It's a tricky industry because you can really get carried away once you mix fame and then like the drinking and the partying, and it's like, it can really get the best of you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like something that I struggle with a lot is just like the pressure that you feel as an artist. And sometimes it feels like there's so much pressure that like the only way to alleviate is to escape, you know? And I feel like I always describe it to my therapist as like, I feel like I'm like constantly, my foot is on the gas at like the highest like speed level. Like that's
amen.
And that is such an exhausting feeling. Cause like, I'll just like be a little vulnerable here. Like I struggle honestly, like with escapism, I think. And then I wonder why.
Me too.
Because I'm like, my life is so good. Why do I love to?
I'll tell you why.
Escape like to the point of like I don't want to be in my own mind.
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
We're in therapy.
This is therapy. I want to phrase this correctly. I saw an interesting video the other day about, he may have been a monk or he might have just been a spiritual teacher, but he was talking about how in order to gain full peace is you have to just like not only detach from your thoughts, but to like see them go into your mind and then to like see them go away. And you literally have to be like a vessel and you have to view your consciousness and your thoughts. And once you do that and you start taking inventory, you have to be able to have control over just stopping. And a lot of people don't have that power. They don't. Even if you do take the back seat and you can like just see your thoughts and not be a part of them, like maybe you can't stop them from coming in. Yeah. And he called it like attaching or hooking. You hook onto a thought and you let it drag you. And he said that's the path to misery. Yeah. And I truly believe in that. And it might not even be a bad thing. In your case, you're a dreamer, you know, and a lot of musicians, they're dreamers, in which case they have high expectations and these thoughts start accruing and you let them hook you and you let them drag you along. And I'm the same way, you know, like my thoughts run wild. Yeah. And I think that escapism, especially for me, like even as simple as smoking like a joint or drinking a little bit. And I looked into the science of drinking and why drinking is a form of escapism. And it affects a part of your brain called the hippocampus, where it literally sets up blinders and you get tunnel vision, where like it almost makes you more present in a way. It makes you more present. Yeah. And I was attracted to drinking so much, and I still am in a way, where it turns off the outside thoughts. Yes. And all of that chatter of just like, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that, and overanalyzing.
You have to do that.
And it goes away and you're just focused in the moment. I think that's why people like to go out and they like to drink and be in social settings, because you're just so in like the moment of being out with the people that you're with. The sad thing is if you do too much of it, you don't remember the next day. Right. But in the moment, all that chatter goes away and it just turns off that part of the brain.
Yeah, it's like a break.
And then for me, smoking was the same way. Like I don't smoke anymore, but every night I used to just like take a little bit of whiskey, smoke a little bit of a joint, watch TV, turn my brain off, and like I could just go right to sleep. Yep. And once I took all that away, like it was kind of hard to go to sleep at some point at a decent hour, because I know a lot of people, they struggle with laying there and just like not being able to turn their brain off. Yeah. And I've had to do so much work, not just like in here, but from like a nutritional standpoint and like making sure like I'm putting the right things in my body, natural things, to like help me ease myself to like even go to sleep at night, not just turn my brain off. So that's one of the hardest battles I think for anyone these days, especially with technology and scrolling and doom scrolling all the time. Oh yeah. Just no one's brain is ever at peace. And if your brain's never at peace, then you'll never have a good signal, and it's going to fuck with yourself as a creator. Yeah. You know, with any type of art. Yeah. So to like piggyback off this kind of, you know, feeling a lot of pressure as an artist and maybe turning to things that obviously aren't the best for us, what have you seen like work really well
for artists to kind of use as a skill to maybe get some of that peace?
Oh boy, I can only speak from personal experience, but I think it's two ways. It's the things that you consume, and then it's the things you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you know the things that are bad that you consume.
Mm-hmm.
You know, alcohol, drugs, even pills or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if they're prescribed, like
Mm-hmm.
it could be like people could be severely addicted to Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there are a lot of things that you consume. You probably know they're not good.
Yeah.
And then there are things you consume that you know that are probably good for you.
Right.
And you can go down rabbit holes of things that help with your, you know, your cognitive functions in your brain and stuff like that. I'm like obsessed with stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to, from like a biological standpoint, just be like, have the best signal I possibly can, because I know like the bigger our operation gets, like the more that falls on my shoulders. And if I drop the ball on something, it could ruin a bunch of stuff if I'm not thinking, if I'm not thinking clearly, or if I'm not putting in enough time. With that being said, and then it's like the stuff you surround yourself with. What type of people are you surrounding yourself with? What are you doing on weekends, or what are you doing during the day? What's your sleep like? Sleep is so important. So important. Yeah. Are you going to bed at the right time every night? Are you getting 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep? Are you hanging out with the right people? Are you like getting outside every day? Are you getting sunlight? Are you going for walks? Are you exercising? Like there's so many factors, and like I'm not going to sit here and lecture on like how to live the best lifestyle, but I think you just have to have like the curiosity and like the need to want to feel good every day. You know, to have a clear mind and to just feel good overall. And like when you do feel good, and you do all the right things and you come up with the right system for yourself, and it's different for everyone, and you're not like just overloading yourself with shit and doom scrolling and, you know, like maybe taking too many substances or whatever. Like if you're like move the needle this way and your vibe is just like erring on the side of good, I think you just have to like be mindful of all that on a daily basis.
Yeah. And I think, you know, like from my experience, it really is such a process, because you could fuck up a million times, but like you can always wake up the next day and just try again. And I think that that's what I've had to like give myself grace with, is like as I'm going down this path, you know, there have been plenty of mistakes that I've made and times that I've fucked up and maybe done things where I'm like, I know better, you know, but it's like you have to, I think, always know that you can always start over. And every single time you do maybe go the other way, it's like, it's okay. Like that's a lesson learned, you know, and like I'm using this information to like push myself further down. And I feel like as somebody who has high expectations and is disciplined and like wants a lot for themselves, it can be really hard to like not get super down about yourself, and maybe things that like if you don't always necessarily, you know, make the right decision or do the right thing. I think it's important to always allow yourself to like change today, you know, and I feel like that process does not happen overnight. I mean, it just happens with a lot of really mistakes. Like I feel like that's the only way where you really start to make different choices, you know?
People don't realize you have to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I think we need to glorify.
Please, can we glorify mistakes? Like
mistakes
honestly.
or failure. Let's just call it failure.
Yeah.
We need to glorify failure.
Yeah.
Because let's put a number on it. You need to fail 10,000 times before you reach, I mean, what are goals? Like our goals change every day, but whatever you think your goals are in your head now, 10,000 times you have to make a mistake or fail. So each time you have one of those moments, you know you're going to adjust and be better after that mistake or failure. So why are we down on ourselves when, like, social media is a great example. You post, 100 times and the post doesn't, like pop off the way you thought it would. And then that 101st time something happens and you're like, oh, awesome.
Right.
Well, you needed those 100 times.
Right.
And Ed Sheeran talks about it with songwriting. He's like the first, 1,000 songs I made were shit. And he described it as like brown water. When you run a faucet that you haven't ran in a long time, all this brown water comes out. And after a short time, it starts to become clear. Yeah. And it's like, you just need to get all your brown water out. Yeah. And it's eventually going to run clear. Yeah. But you got to take the reps. Right. And you got to be persistent, and you just got to put in the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking about like just that, even in general, just like the content side of things, I do want to pick your brain a little bit. So first of all, I haven't even said this yet. You remember the first time we met?
First time.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a story because...
Tell me, I don't know.
Okay, so this was really crazy for me. Mind you, this is before I'm like friends with you guys, like before a group, like before I know you guys at all.
Oh, I think we talked about this.
Yeah, I'm just like, at the point in time where we had met, I was genuinely just like a consumer of like the podcast. So I knew you through Mike, obviously, consumer of his music, fan of his music. And I put out an Instagram story. Once again, I always do this when I need something. I was like, I cannot for the life of me find like a videographer in Nashville to shoot like just good vertical content. You know, I was really starting to open my mind to like music videos are on their way out. I really need some good quality vertical stuff.
Yeah.
And I just put that on my Instagram story and you hit me up and I was like, Jon Kilmer said, hey, yeah, I'm down to do this, which I think maybe it was when you had first moved.
Yeah, I probably had just moved here.
Mm-hmm. And you were like, yeah, like I'd love to do video for you. And for me, like that was so cool because I was like, wow, first of all, I'm definitely like headed down the right direction to even, like you said, like that frequency to be on the same level and just for that kind of interaction to happen. Yeah. And so we shot content and it was great. It was an amazing experience. And then we like had coffee and you kind of gave me like, once again, just a lot of really great advice.
I remember now, yeah.
A lot of great advice. And like I said, it's like being a girl in the industry, it's kind of hard, especially being independent, having no one really like who has my back and is like protecting me. You know, I kind of just have to go off of vibes. And you said a lot of like really insightful stuff. It's stuff that I still to this day used, I think, when I was like going on tour. Because I at that time, I was like, I really felt like I needed to go on tour, you know? Yeah. And you were like, yeah, like for sure. Like I would definitely try to do like a Nashville show and like get your numbers from that and then kind of go from there. And that's exactly what I did. So I threw like 2 Nashville events, 200 to 300 people came out, had all those numbers. Incredible. Ended up booking my own tour based off of that stuff. Wow. And I will say, like, I will never, like, go on tour just, like, independently again. I'm going to have, like, a tour manager from now on, but...
Yeah, but that's, I mean, you booked all the shows yourself?
Yeah, me and Kaya Lacey. So she was my co-headliner. She had a lot of connections, too. I don't want to just say that it was just me.
Yeah, but that's still incredible.
Yeah, we did it ourselves. We had no tour manager. We did everything.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it was quite a fucking humbling experience. I mean, and I always say this in the podcast, like, there were shows where there was almost nobody there. And then there were great shows, like, in Nashville. Like, there were so many people, but, like... It was so eye-opening and like I'm so proud of myself for doing it, but yeah, I know I'm sure you've been in so many scenarios, even with Mike, where it's like you really are playing to nobody, and weirdly it makes you just like that much, I think, more like you're just stronger, like you're more hungry and you're more humble, but in like a good way of being like, okay, like I just did that and I gave these 10 people like an amazing show, you know, and those 10 people next time I come here are going to bring their next 10 friends. And do you feel like putting yourselves out there the way that you guys did with the touring stuff and probably having moments where it felt like nobody gave a fuck, like, do you feel like that was just an invaluable moment? Because I think a lot of artists really need to hear that.
Yeah, I will say, like, take this with a grain of salt, because when Mike started doing headlining shows, there were some small shows, but he kind of started off with like an advantage in a way, because his backstory was so powerful. Right. And it really set him apart with being a pitcher from Duke and having the sports background and being incredible at baseball and his injury story and then becoming a musician. He like kind of automatically had this like baked in fan base of like athletes who could relate to that, which was very unique back then and set him apart from other people. So I wouldn't say like we went through moments where, you know, we were playing in front of 10 or 15 people, which is very fortunate and like a blessing in a way. With that being said, like we played small shows and there were, you know, 40 or 50 people there. But at the same time, we were 24 years old and we didn't know any better. And we couldn't believe that anyone was even... Right. I think we always came from a place of gratitude, even when we didn't realize it. Yeah. You know, it's like he was an artist for 2 or 3 years and we were doing our first, you know, string of shows. And the fact that anyone showed up was incredible. Right. Because we had, like, same thing. We had a booking agent, but... it was really like 4 of us that just like packed into a van or, you know, like an SUV and we'd just drive to the shows, We had no recollection of what to do from a business standpoint. Half the time we'd forget to get the check.
Yeah.
You know, we'd lose our car keys.
And you're like super in the red. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what the financials were back then.
Right.
Who knows? I wasn't paying attention to those things. None of us were. I don't even know who was selling merch, to be honest with you. And I don't know if we were making money. I don't know any of that, but I know that we were grateful from the very beginning. And at least I, like, from my point of view, I was like looking around. I'm like, I can't believe people are paying to come out. I can't believe these people even know who we are. Like, there was no social media back then.
Right.
Instagram hardly existed.
Yeah.
If at all. And you put things on YouTube, and that was the way you got your stuff out there. And it went on music blogs. So, like, and streaming didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So like, it was really hard to like look at numbers. There were no vanity metrics back then. It was just like who looked at your YouTube videos and who bought your songs off iTunes.
Right.
So like the industry was very different back then, and I was just like amazed that I think you just need, to answer your question, you need to come from a place of gratitude.
Yeah.
The fact that anyone gives a shit is incredible, and that anyone cares to like take time out of their schedule to go to the music venue, pay the money, and give you 90 minutes of their undivided attention for whatever, sometimes on a weekday.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And like, you can have whatever preconceived notion or expectation in your mind that, you know, you want your shows to be this big, and you can treat that as a letdown, but then that's a failure on your part.
Yeah.
Because you're not coming from a place of gratitude.
Totally.
And when you come from a place of gratitude, even if 3 people show up, like giving them an experience and knowing that next time you're there, it's going to be even better.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love that.
You have to.
Yeah. I think it's encouraging for artists here. I think a lot of artists get caught up on that. Yeah, it was like an invaluable experience for sure for me to go and do that to the fullest extent. And I'm so happy we did it. But well, I have some questions for you to kind of like wrap things up.
Yeah.
I have questions from me. I have questions from some people that we're very close with over at Grouped headquarters, which
oh boy,
we talk about this a lot over here. But you guys are running just such an amazing community, the artist community. You guys are completely changing the Nashville music scene. I mean, even last night, you know, I went there. I told you, like, the vibe there is what you would expect from the leaders that are running it, everybody involved with Mike, like genuine, good people, good vibes, so much fun, and just such fucking talent, like, is in that building. I couldn't even believe it. Like, we were watching the one takes last night. Yeah. I'm seeing, like, Max's. I'm seeing, is it Schumacher?
Schumacher, yeah.
Yeah, Schumacher's, like, Eon. Like, I'm just like, oh, why? Like, every single one of these people deserve to be a superstar. And it's like, you guys are like housing us. Like, it's so fucking crazy. And like, I'm over there, which I'm just like, this is so wild, but love it over there. So we're going to ask some questions from, like, you know, some people over there. But
awesome.
I just want to know, from an artist perspective, you're a content guy, you know, you're a video guy, always have been. What have you seen be the most effective way to promote your music nowadays? I think a lot of things are getting really just like overdone. Yeah. And I'm interested to hear, like, what you have really seen, like, move the needle for artists.
Yeah. I think if we're talking today, in today's climate, it's no longer about promoting the music. It's about promoting yourself.
Okay.
And that's never been more true.
I'm on the right track.
That's always been true, but I think never more than today. Okay. Because the amount of noise is, like, almost insufferable. It's almost insufferable.
It's almost like a song scroll.
And it's because of a few different things. I think, like, because of the way music is consumed now with streaming, there's almost no value on the art anymore, which is a shame. It's come down to, you listen to my song and I get less than half of a penny for you listening. So I almost, like, it's hard for me, and I'm going to sound like a fucking old head uncle right now, but it's hard for me to scroll, and all these artists I follow are just, it almost, like, you peel back the curtain, it's like almost like people, like, doing this and, like, begging for pennies, begging for fractions of pennies. And I almost think that marketing your music in that way solely, if you're putting almost, like, all of your attention into, like, making these algorithmic 15 to 30 second videos of your art, it's almost like the equivalent of you begging for fractions of pennies, which is a shame. And it's not the artist's fault. It's the system that we're in, which sucks. You know, it really sucks. So it then turns into, how do I now put value back onto my art? That's why I love Grouped. And that's why I love the business model of what we represent. because it's a necessity. And a lot of people don't see it yet. And it's unfortunate because of just, again, the world we live in. And it's hard to sway people from what the norm is of just like, here's 30 seconds of my song. Can you give me a fraction of a penny? But like, you really see it as face value. It's like, it sucks. But if you look at social media as just strictly a discovery platform, not for building real fans, not for like really letting people know exactly who you are, but it's just a discovery, just like a curiosity, like someone sees you and they're like, oh, who's this? You need to have a game plan on how to give them more and turn them into a real fan. And you can't just do that on social media. And a lot of people have that confused. And I think if you're an artist and the majority of your content is going into Reels and TikToks, I think you're making a huge mistake.
I needed to hear that.
Well, no, you're doing a podcast. This is incredible.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you're ahead of 99% of the people.
Yeah.
And like, I think people are so attracted to vanity metrics, they almost lose sight over what's important. They're like, oh, I really need to keep doing these Reels and TikToks so one will pop off and I'll have a moment. But if you do have a moment, then what?
Right.
You get more followers, and then what? When you put out Reels, it only goes out to 30% of your followers. So why do you want to get more followers?
Right.
Why do you even want to get more views in the first place?
Right.
And it's great as a discovery, like Instagram and TikTok, like it's great for discovery. It's like probably the best it's ever been, where you could start with 0 followers and put up a post and get 1 million views. That's never been true, and it's possible today, and that's incredible. But that can't be your only focus.
Yeah.
Like your end goal can't be to get 1 million views on a discovery platform. There needs to be a next step. And that's why I love groups, because it's like the home for the next step.
Yeah. Where you can really just
it's the home
build.
And what people like, you have to think of it as a fan journey. The fan journey doesn't start and end on a discovery platform, and it doesn't start and end. And I think streaming is a discovery platform because there's no value on the art anymore.
Yeah.
People stream. You're literally going on these algorithmic platforms to beg people to go listen to your music, which is worth half of a penny. I mean, anytime someone listens.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the loop.
Right.
Like, and a lot of people treat that as the loop. I put a song out every 2 weeks. I make 10 pieces of content. I hope one of them pops off so people will go over and pay me half of a penny. That can't be the whole loop. You're never like, you're going to kill yourself that way.
Right.
It can't be it.
Yeah.
So how do you extend the loop into a full fan journey? And I love group because it's like, that's the next step. You finally like, you get your fans' data, you bring them into an online community, and then you're able to reach them whenever you want.
Yeah.
On social media, you can't reach all your followers whenever you want. It's impossible unless you pay Lord knows how much money to reach all of your followers with one post.
Yeah.
So what I think is great about taking that next step, in which most artists aren't doing, and like, it doesn't have to be on groups. I work for that company, and like, I think we do it the best. And I don't think any company like really understands like the full fan journey like we do. But whether you do it on groups or not, you got to give them more, and you got to bring them into a place where you can reach them whenever you want. Yeah. Because those are going to be the people that, when it's time for you to go on tour, when it's time for you to sell merch, when your song comes out, or if you want to sell an album, those are going to be people that are going to consume it. Yeah. And you can reach them, all of them, directly anytime. Yeah. Which you can't do on social media, and you can't do on streaming platforms. Right. It's impossible. Right. It's literally impossible. So why not build this community of people who like actually want to support you? Yeah. You know, like use those discovery platforms, but make sure you have the second step in place. Yeah. Because like there are going to be people that are curious and that start listening to 2 or 3 of your songs, and you're like, oh, like I fuck with this person. And then they're going to see this call to action. Oh, I just dropped this podcast, or I just did this like behind the scenes in the studio talking about this song that you really like. Click here and just give me your email and you can watch it. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're in this community. Right. And then you as an artist know that person cares more than just a passive listener that only streamed one song, you know, and you know who they are. You have their name. Maybe you have like their zip code or where they live, so you know where to tour. Yeah. Like this is the future of music, and it's a necessity. Yeah. And a lot of artists aren't thinking that way. Yeah. And I think like when it comes to content, you can't just think about the algorithmic platforms. You got to think of stuff like this, and if you don't have the means to make a high-end podcast, like just make longer form content,
Yeah.
whatever that is for you, whether it's just you setting up your iPhone and hanging in the studio
Yep.
and playing through some songs or showing yourself making a song,
Yeah.
or you going on a live stream and talking to, even if it's just 10 fans,
Yeah.
hanging out with those 10 fans for an hour.
Oh yeah.
Which, like, technology is amazing these days. You can do that.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
form those relationships and form those
Yeah.
bonds. And like Tim said, date your fans.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't just go after the masses and spread the widest net possible all the time, because you're going
Right.
to burn yourself out, and you're going to realize even if you reach 1 million followers, you might not be able to go on tour and sell any tickets,
Right.
because those 1 million people might not even be real fans, and you can't reach them whenever you want.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel with content. Like, you have to get away from the vanity metrics, do stuff like this. Even if you're
Yeah.
doing a podcast or a live stream and only 10 people tune in,
Right.
those 10 people are going to be down to, I guarantee, are going to be down to buy your next shirt or see you at your
Yeah.
next show.
Because they fuck with you.
And you have to do it over time, and it builds up over time,
I know.
just like anything else.
That's the biggest thing I think for me too, like switching my mindset from caring so much about the vanity metrics. I think weirdly, like I haven't had that like in my music career, and I think it's for a reason. Like I really feel like I'm like building a very organic, like brick by brick fan base every
Yeah.
single night.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, focusing, like I said, just on those people who really do care. Like it's just gonna change the game. And I think going in this next year, like I really do want to do that, especially watching everything that's gone down, like with Mike, you know, selling out Red Rocks.
Let me ask you this: you went on that tour. How many shows did you play?
6.
How many people in the crowd did you recognize from your live streams?
Oh, like all of them.
All of them?
Like most of them, yeah.
So people that you consistently
Right.
live stream with came out to your shows?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
And bought my merch, and
There-
will always buy my merch,
There you go.
and will literally, like, if I say I need something, they are, we got you. We got you.
That's the real vanity number.
Yeah.
The vanity number is building that number.
So true.
Not the person who
You're
does,
so right.
not the people who do this and stops on your video for 4 seconds to count as a view.
Damn, you're like mine.
Not the people that listen to your song and listen for 10 seconds and then that counts as the monthly
Yeah.
listener. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
Who cares about someone who stumbled
Damn.
across your music, listened for 10 seconds?
Right.
That's a monthly listener.
Right.
They stumbled across you on a playlist and listened for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a monthly listener.
That's so true.
What about someone that hangs out with you for an hour every week?
Oh, they're ride or die. Like,
You know what I mean?
They're never leaving me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I've talked about this before. It's about like letting people and like forget about music and forget about fans. Let's just talk about relationships and like being drawn to someone and feeling close to someone. How much time do you have to spend with someone to feel close with
Yeah.
them and to consider them a friend?
Mm-hmm.
And like we're now in an age where it's 15 seconds at a time or 30. You can't get
Right.
to know anyone like that. Like you're doing it right. Like you're doing a podcast, you're live streaming every week. People are hanging out with you for hours at a time. And when you hang out with someone for hours at a time, and that's a testament to Mike. You said you got drawn in through the podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
Because people, every week we put out the same show every week on the same time and the same day, and people knew when to expect it, and they'd tune in and they'd hang out with us for an hour to 2 every week.
Yeah.
And after you do that for years at a time, you feel like you're best friends with that
Yeah.
person. And then you start to become friends with the people who are also fans of that,
Yep.
and it forms a community, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you're at a show, whether it's 6,000 people or 60 people, you're around those people and you're all in the same vibe and you're all hanging out and you feel like you're best friends.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do as an artist.
Yeah. That makes me feel so good to hear, because like I am taking that exact path, and I think sometimes that path takes a lot longer to pay off.
It does take a lot longer.
And you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I don't, like, I'm not like pouring money into streams and ads and like, you know, I know so many artists like who do that, and I'm not doing that. And like I get caught up a lot because I'm like, I could, because like I said, like I really could pour money into like making it look like, and it's not even making it look like, just like pumping up those numbers, you know? And there's just something that stops me every time, because I'm like, what even is that at the end of the day? Like,
None of it means anything.
and honestly, I'm probably just going to feel worse. Like if
Yeah.
if I know that I took a shortcut at this point, I'm like, I'm so far in, like on this like road to like authenticity and just building this fan base, that it's just like, I just can't. Like I can't. Like I'd rather just keep doing what I'm doing. And I think it's just, you know, over time, I'm just hoping that it blossoms into something bigger. But it's just so great to hear you say that, because I think a lot of people actually look at my career and they're like, whoa, like she does a lot. Like she's like really like she has a podcast. Like, I don't really get it. Like, she also is like a live streamer, and like, I know in my mind like what I'm doing. Like, I have a game plan.
Yeah.
But I think it's really like not a lot of people are going about it that route.
Yeah.
But I mean, even just in the level of like how I get to live my life on a day-to-day basis, like it's working for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to keep going down that road, I guess.
I think you're doing great.
Thank you.
And I think like, yeah, people lose sight over like paying attention to the 10% of people who give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying pour all your attention into that because you need to bring in new people.
Right.
But at least like make sure you're having balance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where I think so many people are like just fascinated and fixated on getting more and more and more and more, like more attention, not even fans' attention.
Yeah.
And you just got to pay attention to the people who give a shit.
Yeah.
You have to, because like those are going to be the ones that, if you want to keep doing this 10 years from now, they're going to keep supporting you. So
true. Oh, I love that. Okay. So, you know, you kind of being the right-hand man to like this massive thing of Mike's career and everything, what do you think has been the most stressful moment so far of this entire thing?
Single moment?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, when have you been at like your breaking point of like, what am I actually doing? Like, I can't.
From the beginning until now?
Is it when the website crashes when no one can buy tickets?
No, that's a blessing, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm at a point where like those things are blessings. The fact that there's so many people to crash a website to make things not work, that's a blessing.
Right.
I think it's like, you know, like there were so many, like back in our Reckless days, and I've journaled about this extensively, like in the moment. I have a great journal. It'll be a great book one day.
Yes.
Now I look back at these entries as like horrid mistakes.
Yeah.
But and they are funny, I guess, in a way. But you look back and there were some like really close calls of like could have killed yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they're like, I don't know, just thinking off the top of my head right now, like there's probably 3 or 4 moments where it's like could have easily went the other way.
Right. Like we went too far.
And like I'm not going to speak for that like other people, but I'll speak for myself. There were moments where I was like, could have easily killed me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
From either
honestly, same.
Drinking too much or doing too much of that one drug or like just putting yourself in a really bad situation or doing something irresponsible, could have went the other way.
Yeah.
And it happened too many times.
Yeah.
And being in a place now where like I can, 1, be alive, and 2, like look back in retrospect and be like, I was kept alive for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like whether it's the universe or God or whatever you believe in, whatever I believe in, like I'm not gonna take advantage of that or take it for granted.
Wow.
You know?
Okay, not what I was expecting you to say, but I actually love that answer.
No, but like it's like we really like we
real.
live so irresponsibly. And like it's all good and fun and we can tell funny stories and like I wouldn't change a damn fucking thing.
Right.
I would never change anything about my past, but yeah, like there were times where it had nothing to do with the business, nothing to do. It was just taking it too far.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
And then I just have one last question from me, and then we'll get into the funnier ones. So like obviously like Mike talks about his retirement, and I've actually always like thought about this with you specifically. What do you think post that happening, right? Post Mike's retirement and all that. What do you think that you see yourself doing, and like what is your ultimate goal like for next chapter? Yeah,
this is gonna be a long-winded answer. On the Mike side of things, I think we were talking about this recently, and the beauty of our community only Steves and grouped, and just where he is as an artist, and how much work and art he has. I mean, his music vault is like 300 songs just for this next album, and he's going to make another 100 this year.
Right.
And he's going to stop putting things publicly on DSPs and really social media. And the only connection to him and music releases for him are going to be through his community, privatized. It's not going to be public anymore. And we know that business model to be evergreen. You know, like it's those people are going to be the only way like to connect to him in the future. And I'm blessed to be in a position where I manage that aspect of his business for him. And it's on a platform that he and I are both partners with. And I think that's the future. And even though he retires, it lives on. He's going to continue to release music. Hell, he might even drop in and say hello or talk to fans or go on a live stream. Yeah. But his only connection to his fans are going to be through Only Steve's on his private community.
I love that.
And and it's not even just going to be paid. It's like you can be on there, you could be free, you could still experience it. But like that's going to be like an ever growing business, and that's going to be the only connection to him. And and I'm going to continue to do that with him. Yeah. And then I'm blessed to be in this whole grouped ecosystem. Yeah. And I feel like that's such a natural progression for me because I know that with Mike, I get to help one artist who's one of my best friends and that I've known for a very long time, over 15 years. And, I just like, I'm so grateful that I get to bring value to, one of my best friends. But now it's like I work on this platform and I get to help thousands of artists. Yeah. And that's just like, that's such a great natural progression of being in a position to do that. Yeah. And even outside of groups, like I like that I can come from a place of experience to say like, yeah, we did that. Right. And like, I'm so grateful that we got to achieve that. And now I can help others achieve the same thing if they want, Yeah.
So you see yourself kind of like forever, like helping artists kind of
just, to strip everything away that I just said, like being in a place of mentorship.
Yeah. That's your passion.
Means so, well, not even passion. It's just like, it feels like my purpose, Yeah. Before my purpose was like building this beautiful thing that like, it's not over yet. We still got a couple years left. And like, who knows?
I don't think it's ever going to be over. Let's be so for real. But it's not going to ever be over.
Like, who knows how big it'll be? Like Red Rocks is just like the next big thing. And we're so excited for that. But there'll be just to, not to leak too much, but there's going to be a little bit after that. Yeah. And we don't really know how big we're going to take this thing. Yeah. And when it's all said and done, like I can't believe I'm going to be able to come from a place of, like achieving something from an independent level with my friends that not many people can say they've done. Oh yeah. And I can now instill and help other people with that experiential wisdom. It's like the biggest blessing in the entire world. Right. And that's just how I see my next chapter. And I want to make movies as well, but that's a whole nother.
Well, speaking of movies, actually, we're actually going to talk about something.
Whole nother thing.
We're actually going to talk about something from an audience member named Tim. Tim.
An audience member named Tim. I wonder who that is.
An audience member named Tim. I heard The Primrose got nominated for multiple Oscars.
Oh, God.
What is that all about?
It didn't get nominated.
Is he full of shit? What is he doing to me?
No, the Primrose, my first feature film, just to give context, which I made back in 2018, did not get nominated for anything.
Tim, what the hell? I told him, I was like, don't set me up.
However, it's an incredible film, and I'm so proud of it, and the team that made it with me, all the actors and the crew, and it is available on Amazon Prime Video if anyone wants to spend the $2 to rent it. I think it's well worth the $2.
All right. Yeah. And then talk to me about Jiggy.
Jiggy, wow, what a guy.
I don't think many people know that you have an executive produced comedy special with the Impractical Jokers.
Well, it's with Joe Gatto, who's part of the Impractical Jokers. Okay. He was the executive producer of my friend Jiggy's comedy special, which I did a couple of years ago. Jiggy, his name's Mark, has been one of my best friends for a decade at this point. And we actually met in Florida, but we lived not together, but in New York City for a long time. Okay. And he's a comedian. And we met because he hired me to do a music video. When I first started working with Mike, my music video started getting popular. And he was living in Florida at the time, and he was like, hey, I'm a comedian. I have this golf comedy music video that I want you to film because I love your videos with Mike. I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah. So I went down to Florida, and he had this song called Lob Wedge, and I learned he was a comedian. He was making funny songs. And we shot this video called Lob Wedge, where we got full reign of this golf course, and we got to shoot a video. And then he moved to New York, and I moved to New York, and we just quickly became best friends. He's actually the first person I ever started a podcast with in 2016. 2016. Wow. No one was podcasting in 2016. Yeah. And we had a show called The Jiggy and John Show. We put it out on SoundCloud because that was the only way to put out. Yes. And we did like 40, 50 episodes of that show. We did it for quite some time. And anyways, I know this is a long-winded answer, but we just have such a fun story together. And he went on to become the national opener of the Impractical Jokers.
Oh, wow.
And he opened the majority of their shows for 7 years, including Madison Square Garden.
Oh my God,
and he became
insane.
very close with them, and he's now still very close with Joe Gatto, and he still tours with Joe. And when it became time for Mark to do his comedy special, Joe was the director of the comedy special, and then he asked me to come in and be one of the videographers for the special. And we shot it in New York a year or two ago, and it was so much fun.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
okay.
But Mark's the man. And just to bring things full circle, sorry, very long-winded, but Mark also has a background of working for the Ritz-Carlton for 10 years in hospitality while he was living in New York and being a comedian. He also worked for the Ritz-Carlton. And I'm sure you learned with our Red Rocks weekend, we did a partnership with a hotel.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah. So just to bring things full circle, we were doing this partnership where we wanted to basically sell the biggest hotel in Denver to our fans. Mm-hmm. And like, that's a hard conversation to have where we have no experience.
Right.
Like asking a hotel, hey, can we rent out your entire hotel for our fans? And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, who would be a good person to help us with this deal? Jiggy, motherfucking Jiggy.
And he helped you.
My friend for the longest time
Jiggy!
that knows entertainment, that knows hospitality more than fucking anyone. So he literally brokered the hotel deal with us. And now like 60% of the biggest hotel in Denver, that it's a 1,000-room hotel, is now going to be booked out specifically to Steve's, and it's already sold. We sold it.
Yeah, how badly did I fuck up by like not getting a hotel room there that weekend?
It's okay. Like anywhere close is fine.
Okay, I'm like, fuck. I was traveling while that all happened, so
yeah.
We'll be there, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. You know, we'll probably pop in.
I hope you do.
No, of course we will. We'll be there. Okay, so then we have a question from Steph. Do you know Steph?
I think she's somehow affiliated with this Tim character.
She may be affiliated with Tim. She wants to know, if you had to choose between giving up chewing tobacco or 80s hair metal, which one are you dropping?
The tobacco. I can't. You can take Def Leppard away from Jon Kilmer, but you can't take Jon Kilmer away from Def Leppard, you know?
Got it. Okay.
And people ask like about, live concerts and do I go to shows? And I rarely go to shows because I work in concerts. Mm-hmm. And if I'm, I'm on the other side of it, Yeah. So the only concerts the one show I've seen the most is Def Leppard.
Really?
I've seen Def Leppard 6 times, I think.
Wow. Something about that just...
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 80s rock, I will never miss a concert if it's coming through my town.
Okay.
I've seen, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Journey, like you name it, they come to town, I'm there.
Okay.
The best shows in my opinion, best experience, and my favorite music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, a little fun fact. All right, and then one last one. I was hanging out at groups last night, and Jay Griff was there, and he's like...
I already know the question. Can I guess the question?
What is it?
Am I taller than him? Is it, am I taller than
Actually,
Jay?
John, we've actually confirmed that Jay Griff is in fact taller than you, and that's all Jay Griff wanted me to say on this.
You don't have the proof in front of you?
I just saw a picture, and he's actually, I think he's wearing like a yellow hat. He looks taller than you, John. Jay Griff, don't say I never did anything. Jay Griff was my partner last night in Farkle, and we won the whole game. Can you believe we won?
I can believe it because he's just a beauty of a guy.
Such a light. We love you. No, he's seriously. And I'm gonna be on the podcast tomorrow with both of you guys. What's the deal?
Yeah, we're gonna do the artist roundtable. You're gonna be on episode number 9 or 10, I think.
I was gonna say if I'm not top 10.
I think you're gonna squeeze in just at number 10.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so cool. you're in good company.
Cool.
And
what do you have to say about like this height accusation?
I think it's just I'm gonna point at the struggle of just being an average height fellow. We're like right at 5'10", which I think is like you're not a short king.
Right.
You're definitely not tall.
Yeah.
So,
I think 5'10's good.
So we have no label.
Yeah.
We have no label.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think if you can own being a short king. And
I think you're better off with the short kings.
Of course, you can own being like over 6 feet tall. Mm-hmm. We're just kind of in like that purgatory of being like
hell.
Yeah, anyone who's 5'10", 5'11", and has to lie
Yeah.
about being 6 feet tall. I don't lie, by the way. I own it. 5'10", own it. But it's a struggle, and I think he's just lashing out.
Yeah, he's like losing it a little. I think he feels competitive.
And he wants to take it out on me, and I'm like the only other guy that's in that purgatory with him.
Right.
And he wants to see it as like a measuring contest, quite literally. And it's fine, Jay Griff. You're going to eventually mature to the point where it won't matter to you, and we'll get there. And it's going to be fine.
I love it. Well, I'm so happy that I got to do that for you guys. And then I just have one last question to cap this off. For the future of Grouped, for the future of the artist community, what do you see within the next year for this amazing, squad of people that you guys are building up, these artists that are just, I think, truly superstars, like all through your building every single day? What are some of the biggest and most exciting things that you guys have coming up?
I think that one, just having like a brick and mortar physical place where people can congregate, which like everyone has said, I think you said it too, like there hasn't been anything in Nashville anyways.
Trust me, I've been here 10 years.
That there's like a creative like incubator of like just not even artists, like just creators, videographers. Anytime someone that's like just a creator that moves to Nashville, and there's been a lot recently. There's like my friend who's just a videographer, photographer that just moved here a few weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, you got to come by. Yeah. The fact that I can say come by, the artist community, come by Group HQ, and just meet people. All you got to do is just come.
Literally.
Yeah, like anytime something's going on, just come.
Yep.
And you'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll meet whoever you need to meet, and like it's just full of friendly people who are all aligned and doing the same thing as you. And there's been aspects of that are like digital forever, and I think people have relied on the digital aspect of that. But I mean, now that there's people in our community that are just moving to Nashville to be a part of it. Oh yeah. Which is incredibly humbling that I even get to be a part of something that, motivates someone to move their whole life to a city to be a part of. Yeah. I think that's fantastic. And I think just being a part of that and growing it even bigger and bringing even more value to that is all I care about. Yeah. Whether it's through Grouped, whether it's through the artist community, just this community, I think is everything to me because just like the person-to-person connection and doing it in person, it means the world, and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can kind of cut it off after this, but I just want to say, just as an artist experiencing this and how it's changed my life and kind of even just how I like perceive the music industry, it almost feels like we're going back in time to like a little bit of simpler times by being with you guys, because like I said, it is just so organic and authentic, and you guys just have such full faith and belief, and there's no like weirdness, there's no deals, there's no anything like that. It really does feel very special, and I'm so honored to be a part of everything that you guys have going on, and I'm so happy that you came and talked. Like, everyone who knows, like everybody in Nashville like fucks with Mike, and it's like they know you obviously through that, so to have you on has just been so awesome for me. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, and I'll leave off with this. Want to know how I know you're gonna make it?
How?
You're never gonna guess how.
How?
You have green mic cables.
Oh my god, the branding.
No, this level of detail. Anyone who has this attention to detail, I'm not worried about.
Okay.
I mean that wholeheartedly. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Wait, I love that.
When you reach your goal and you're in that moment, I want you to think back to this moment.
I will.
And John said green mic cables. That's how I knew.
I'll have one at Bridgestone. How about that?
This is how I knew.
You could be filming.
I'm telling you.
And I'm going to be like, John,
I'm not even, I swear cables. I'm not even kidding. This is how I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you guys heard it here first.
Yep.
Well, an incredible episode. Thank you so much, Jon Kilmer, for being here. Guys, he's amazing. If you guys don't already follow him, he's just incredible. Everything that he's doing over at Grouped and everything he's done so far with Mike's career is just beyond inspiring. So make sure to go check him out. You're always putting out awesome content too. And
listen, if you made it this far into the podcast, I don't care if you follow me. Just have a good night, and I love you so much.
Okay. All right. Well, follow me. I'm just... vanity metrics, follow me, and no, subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys are inspired by this episode. If you're a creative and you were, make sure to leave a comment and send it to another creative friend. We love to like build this community up even more, so everybody's welcome, not only in our comment section, but I'm sure if you're an artist in Nashville, like hit us up, let us know what you're about. Yeah. And I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did.
Join our community, please. If you're an artist or a creative, or you just want to hang out with some cool people, just always hit us up. Everyone's welcome.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you guys next week on The Green Room with Jade Million. Like I said, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in, y'all. That's a wrap.